this is Leneha Junsu. Welcome to my channel that is all about enhancing what you have. Today we are going to do another part of ghost stories as I promised. Now, before we start, I just want to make a request that if you are enjoying this content that I am creating, please don't forget to comment under this video. Now, I'm saying this because when I upload these videos, I push my other videos for later upload. So what happens is that actually when you guys don't comment, I think that no one is watching because I don't get much views anyways. For my other videos, even if they don't do well in the meantime, later on they do somehow well. So I know something is going on. But for these videos, the views get stuck forever. It's like nobody watches it. So if you are actually enjoying my content, I have a request to make that please don't forget to comment. Secondly, I just saw I have the button and other stuff on the bed. That's the way I am. So my hand freeze, it just stopped working. So I don't have a proper mic to film. So I will be, sweating because I'm filming in a 44 degrees heat without fan. So, you can have a good sound quality this time. Also, please don't forget to like this video, when you will be commenting, because that really helps my channel grow and this doesn't cost you anything and it will just make me happy. Will you do that for me, please? Also, if you have gone through any paranormal experience or someone you know has gone through it, don't forget to DM me on Instagram. That Instagram is here somewhere. Also, if you do not want to reach me out on Instagram, you can contact me through my other socials. It's all in the description box below. Okay? So today I'm going to read one story again. So I just wanted to make it quick so we can do this weekly thing. So let's start. Hi darling, can you read me as anonymous? Got you. I hope you're well. Alhamdulillah, I'm well now. I hope you are well. And how are you? Like all of you, how are you? New story for our scary horror story group. Oh, years ago when we were teenagers, my sisters and I were talking about black magic and how people use it to get what they want. This happens a lot in Desi families. Like, I'm from Pakistan, and to be honest, every other, especially women, even if in Islam it's not allowed, but even if we know someone, we know they are into black magic, it sucks. We were joking and being silly teens, saying I would do this or I would do that. If I could do that, I would have gotten myself to be near Shaujan or Yibo. I don't want to tell you guys further. But anyways, it's not allowed in Islam. My phone again locked. I'm reading the story from here. We were joking and being silly teens, saying I would do this or would do that, not being serious at all. Our mother overheard our conversation and became serious. She told me and my siblings a frightening story, which was to teach us to never ever play around with magic or anything associated with it. It's like a tight slap for myself right now. She explained how wrong it was, sinful, and the accidents caused by something you could not control. When we asked her if she had any knowledge or experience, she told us this story. We couldn't sleep properly for days. My time has come to not sleep for days. Okay, our family originates from South Asia. My parents were newlyweds and lived in my grandparents' house, which was very close to a jungle or forest where there were many wild animals, birds, and other exotic creatures. Sufis, peers, spiritual teachers would always visit our grandparents' home, teach the children religious education, offer blessings and prayers. In return, they would be fed and given a room to sleep. This is normal in our society. It was kind of normal back in the day in Pakistan as well. Not anymore, but again. However, one thing, looking back, she disagreed on was that whenever a person got very ill, there was always talk and fear of that person dying. Yeah, true. Some would consult the peer whether the person would live or die, and others would seek advice from the beings in the jungle. Beings? You mean animals or supernatural beings? Before I start, this is heavily looked upon, and back then, youngsters would do silly things like this without realizing the consequences. I have not waxed for now, like I have goosebumps. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. They would do these things behind their elders' back. Now that's more scary. You guys know my father. Like I remember he told us that once, like he used to do planchette, like he used to use Ouija board when he was young, and once while they were doing the planchette or Ouija board, like an evil spirit came and like he told us that it stopped them from breathing, and certain things happened. Like it happened in this house, like on the room, like a little bit further from here but above me. I can't tell you the entire story because then I can't sleep, because I have the thing that someone is behind me or someone is going to come for me. So let's just go back to the story. Mom was very young and naive. She was newlywed and extremely shy, but at the same time was keen to be involved with her in-laws. All new newlyweds do that. Our dad would work abroad, so she was bored when he was away. A person near their house was very ill, and she was invited to go to the jungle with some relatives to find out their fate. Never having doing this before or taking it seriously, she accepted their invite and went along. Before going, the women of the house were instructed to cook and prepare a large amount of food and wrap it up in a large banana leaf. The rule was, I'm shaking. The rule was, when you go to consult the spirits of the forest, you must bring them a food offering. You must cook it for them and only for them. You are not allowed to even taste it for yourself. The most important thing was you could not show you were scared. Why? No fear. If you fear and they notice, then you may be taken advantage of. Anyways, so they prepared the food. When they busied themselves away with the cooking and preparing, a young cousin came to the kitchen and helped himself to eat a little bit of food. They did not know or were aware of this. About 5 of them proceeded to go to the jungle together before Maghrib time, before sunset. A relative took the Quran, holy book of Muslims, with her because she was very nervous. Mom stressed she never saw or knew anything about so-called spirits, so she was very skeptical and naive. They went into the forest and they went into a clearing close to a river area and placed the offering food a few meters in front of them and backed away. Nothing happened for a while. Then some things began to happen. Suddenly, the air changed. There was an eerie silence. They all had an unsettling feel. Then, out of nowhere, across the bank of the river, they saw a giant man dressed in white robes. Their heads were sky high and their huge feet were on the ground. They had long white beards and penetrating eyes, staring down at them. It was horrifying. They looked down at the 5. Their mouths started to open, and then they began a loud and booming roar. The roar was so intense, the trees and the river shook with ripples. The relative who was holding the Quran was so frightened and panicked, she let out the first scream, to which set off the other four. They all panicked suddenly and started to run away as fast as they could. The terrifying boom of laughter behind them was chasing them. Now I'm scared. They ran and ran back to the house and stayed inside the house and would not come out. In the meantime, nobody else in the house realized or guessed anything happening. When the five of them discussed what happened, they realized the spirits were angry because the food was tampered with, and the spirits realized this and took offense. Although the food was cooked, it was found that the younger relative helped himself to the food, and they did not know this, but the spirits knew this. That night, when everyone went to sleep, there were loud thudding bangs and knocks on their door. The multiple voices outside were telling them to open the door, and it was using familiar voices they recognized. There was pleading, crying, and laughter. When the elders heard this, they knew something was very wrong and instructed the household not to open the door and ignore it, and read surahs and duas, holy verses. It was confusing and, looking back, terrifying. Had they opened the door, God knows what would have happened. The peers soon found this out and warned them never to do anything as stupid and as senseless as this. They were lucky because those malevolent beings take offense. They will either possess you, your household, or outright kill you. They were merciless creatures, and it is wise never to contact them. After that, my mother would never ever go back to the forest or tamper with anything that would contact beings of another world. Good choice, that's what I do too. Moral of the story was never play or consult with jinn or ghost or bhoot. They're not friends and they have their own agendas. After that night, she always believed the five of them were very lucky that night, and perhaps taking the Holy Quran, the holy book, helped save them. When our mom told us this story, we could not sleep for a week because we were spooked. Well, I think I'm not sleeping anymore as well for a while. But to be honest, I'm really happy that your mom made out of this and other four people as well, because I have heard stories from my relatives and other people, and we always come about such stories living in Pakistan or India. We have such stories, even nowadays, I always hear certain things. So most of the time many people don't make out of all this. So I'm happy that they made out of this, and I hope someone could learn a lesson from it. And if you want to share some stories of yours, you're most welcome. My DM is always open for all of you. Please come and share your stories so we can have another video. So I will see you guys with another video soon. Bye bye. So I just ran out of my room because right after I stopped filming and I was closing my tripod, my nail broke. Look at this. I made my bun. I switched off the camera. and I'm closing the tripod, and out of nowhere, like, I hear a click, and when I see it, my nail is broken, like, so painfully. It could be a coincidence. It always happens whenever I film such videos.